37% of adults cannot cover a $400 surprise with cash. So strict budgets create panic instead of stability for people living on a low or middle income. This is the blueprint. A flexible buffer system that starts with a panic fund. A pile of quarters should not control your week. So what should? When a $400 hit cannot be paid in cash, the backup plan becomes a credit card. Then the emergency does not end. It turns into interest, fees, and a smaller next paycheck. If you feel stuck and underpaid, this video gives you 3 simple switches to stop the cycle. The first switch takes less than 2 minutes, and it starts working with your next $20. This is Wealth Mentor Pro, where every lesson is a step closer to your freedom. Stay with me, because by minute 5, you will know exactly what to do in 2026 when your budget meets real life. I have learned this the hard way. If you tried the 50-30-20 rule and felt like you failed, it is not because you are bad with money. Rigid rules assume your bills politely shrink when your income is tight. Bills are the one thing in life that rarely tries to be supportive. Start with a guardrail, not a spreadsheet. When the road is wide, you can drift a little and still stay safe. When the road is tight, one wobble sends you over the edge. Your first buffer is that guardrail. You have about $250 left for medicine, kids, clothes, birthdays, and anything that makes life feel human. The month breaks. The math does not just get harder. Most advice responds with more tracking and more categories. But when money is tight, the first win is not a perfect budget. The first win is making the next emergency smaller. Do this today. Open a separate savings spot and name it Panic Fund. The stakes are simple. Without a panic fund, emergencies turn into debt, and debt eats future paychecks. If this feels like a calmer start, tap like so it reaches someone who needs that relief too. Now ask yourself this. What happens when payday is 2 days late? The next problem is timing. On Tuesday, you might have $60 left. A $90 bill hits Wednesday. Payday is Thursday. You did not overspend. You got trapped between dates. Overdraft fees are often around $30 to $35 each. One mistimed automatic payment can trigger a fee, then a late fee, then another overdraft when the next bill hits. Suddenly, the emergency is not the original $420, so the second switch is a checking cushion. Not your panic fund, not your long-term savings. Just a small, boring amount that keeps your account from hitting zero while bills pass through. Example, you are paid bi-weekly. Rent hits on the 1st. Your paycheck lands on the 5th. On paper, you can afford it. In real life, your calendar gets you in trouble. It is hard to build wealth when money keeps leaking out through avoidable penalties. Choose $50, $75, or $100 as your do not cross line in checking, and build that line before you optimize anything else. The stake is uncomfortable, but true. It is hard to build wealth when money keeps leaking out through avoidable penalties. Patch the leaks first, because every avoided fee is money you keep. Now we need an order that works, even when you do not have much left. If you only have $50 to $200 a month after basics, where should it go first? This is where a lot of videos get vague. They say track everything, or invest, or pay debt only. But if you are close to the edge, the smartest move is usually to build a small buffer first, because it stops the cycle that keeps pulling you back. Now think of this as a map. If your hours change, and your take-home swings between $1,900 and $2,500, you need steps that do not fall apart every month. A map does not demand perfection. It just tells you what comes next, even on a messy day. In 2026, your map can be 3 steps: checking cushion, panic fund, then a 1 paycheck buffer. Step 1 is the checking cushion, $50 to $100. Step 2 is the panic fund, $100, then $400, then $500. That $400 milestone matters because it is the size of a common shock that knocks people off track. Step 3 is a 1 paycheck buffer, where you are paying next cycle's bills with this cycle's money, instead of hoping everything lines up. So instead of a monthly goal you cannot control, set 1 per paycheck rule. Send $15 to the panic fund every payday. After 10 paychecks, that is $150. After 20 paychecks, that is $300. Not dramatic, but it changes how the next emergency lands. Do this today. Set 1 automatic transfer per payday, $10, $15, or $25, so your buffer grows without constant decisions. This is wealth building, even if it feels small. Net worth is what you own minus what you owe. Buffers slow down new debt, so the O side stops growing as fast. That is how net worth can start rising, even before you feel ahead. By now you might be thinking, what about debt? You are right to ask. Credit card rates are often in the low 20% range. Carrying a balance is like paying a monthly tax on past emergencies. But if you throw every spare dollar at debt with no buffer, the next surprise often puts the balance right back. Here is the twist. A budget does not break because you are weak. It breaks because it has no shock absorber. Quick question for you. What knocks you off track most often? Car repairs, medical bills, rent changes, or something else? Drop one word in the comments. Now we set the 3 switches. Rule 1. Build buffer before you chase a perfect budget. This creates calm fast. Until your panic fund reaches $500, send your first extra dollars there. Even $20 twice a month is $40. In 3 months, that is $120, often enough to keep one small emergency from turning into a carried balance. Treat the buffer like a bill that pays future you. Rule 2. Keep the system simple with 3 buckets, not 12 categories. Bills are fixed commitments you must protect. Basics are food, gas, and the minimum you need to function. Buffer is what stops surprises from turning into debt. For example, on a $2,600 month, you route most money to bills and basics, and you send $25 per paycheck to buffer. That is not a vibe. That is a stability rate. Keep one line in your head. Buffer before lifestyle. Rule 3. Use the buffer to protect progress, then refill it. This is how momentum survives real life. If a $260 vet bill hits, you use the panic fund, so you do not add $260 to a card. Then you refill with your normal $15 or $25 per payday. As the buffer holds, high-cost debt stops growing, and paying it down finally sticks. Then, when life is steadier, long-term investing can become a slow next step as a concept. Diversified, low-cost, long horizon, no guarantees. Because you are not constantly borrowing from the future to survive the present. Now the payoff from the start. The 1-minute payday ritual that makes these switches real. Open your bank app. First, make bills safe. Second, check your do not cross line in checking and top it up if it dipped. Third, send your preset amount to the panic fund. Then close the app. You are done. This is general education, not personal financial advice. But the direction is clear. Build stability. Reduce high-cost debt, then grow ownership slowly. When the next $400 surprise shows up, it should feel like an interruption, not a collapse. If you found this useful, like the video and subscribe for calm systems that build net worth over time. And when you are ready, watch the next suggested video to keep the momentum going. This is Wealth Mentor Pro.